so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
All right, let's go.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. With us tonight, we've got Dave, Alex, and Dan, and obviously myself. Rob will not be joining. Well, he may join us a little later. He sounds like he's doing some fun stuff in a stadium with SWAT training and drones and cool things. I'm incredibly envious of what he's getting to do at the moment. And then Bunty will not be joining us this evening. But to be honest, guys, tonight, the last couple weeks have been slow drone news wise. So I don't have a ton from that. So we may have a little bit of a short town hall this evening, but we still wanted to hold it. That way we can partner with you guys and just chit chat. But at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this first one and let me see. No, I just want a window. I want, what is, oh, hold on. I'm failing at life at the moment. Gotta split my windows out here.
How many times have we done this before?
Listen, yo.
I wonder if it was Josh or Dave presenting.
Listen. All right. So this comes from Drone XL and Haya Kestelou. Small drone makers face major hurdles in remote ID compliance. So the drone industry is at a crossroads as small and mid-sized manufacturers grapple with the FAA administration or the Federal Aviation Administration standard remote ID regulations. A comprehensive report from the Drone Advisory Council, which Dave is a member of, sheds light on the significant challenges these companies face in integrating standard remote ID technology onto their small unmanned aerial systems. So for those of you who don't understand what standard remote ID, it's a step above and beyond a broadcast module. So it has additional requirements, including making the aircraft ineligible from taking off if the remote ID is not active, and as well as transmitting the physical location of the ground station, which would be your transmitter, essentially providing information on where you are at, as opposed to just that initial kind of takeoff location. So the survey conducted by the Drone Advisory Council among leading recreational and commercial drone manufacturers in the United States, and the results were alarming and highlighted a stark reality. None of the surveyed manufacturers are currently producing SRID compliant drones, and none have concrete plans to integrate standard remote ID into their products in the near future. These findings raise serious questions about the feasibility of current regulatory framework and its impact on drone industry's diversity and innovation. And even further still, and we've talked about this before, network remote ID is potentially on the horizon fairly soon. And soon in regulatory terms can be a little ambiguous. But if we haven't even surpassed the standard remote ID hurdle, what does broadcast remote ID, or sorry, network remote ID look like in the near future, right? So reasons behind the lack of compliance. Number one is a lack of visible enforcement. Many manufacturers reported that there's no enforcement visible. This perception has led to a wait and see approach, with companies hesitant to invest in compliance when they don't see consequences. There's a high compliance cost in terms of developing technical solutions and navigating the FAA's approval process. For small companies operating on tight budgets and tight margins, these costs can be prohibitive. Technical skill gap. Many small drone makers lack the technical and integration skills needed to implement standard remote ID. As one manufacturer explained, many drones consist of large components which are assembled and then run on open source software. No programming is required. This plug and play approach, while efficient for production, doesn't lend itself well to complex integration required for standard remote ID. Regulatory ambiguity. Some manufacturers cited the vagueness of standard remote ID rules as a barrier to compliance. Without clear, actionable guidelines, companies are left uncertain with how to proceed. And then a competitive disadvantage. There's fear among smaller manufacturers that investing in standard remote ID compliance could put them at a competitive disadvantage. If they increase prices to cover compliance costs while larger companies can absorb these expenses, they risk losing market share, which is definitely a concern. The technical challenge, as I said, was integrating standard remote ID into the propulsion systems. It basically needs to intercept the arming signal to a certain degree if the remote ID is not active and functioning, as well as creating a reliable link between the ground station and the drone to broadcast locations. So the Drone Advisory Committee has recommended the following to the FAA, and we'll see how the FAA responds to that, if they respond to this. So a 2-year enforcement deferment. Council suggests a 2-year period of deferred enforcement for manufacturers actively pursuing compliance plans. Give them a little breathing room to implement standard remote ID solution. Interim compliance solution, allowing the use of remote ID broadcast modules as a temporary compliance measure. Could provide a more accessible path for small manufacturers while they work towards full standard remote ID integration. Pre-approved technical solutions. The FAA could provide a declaration of compliance for specific pre-approved technical solutions. This would significantly reduce the risk and uncertainty for manufacturers in choosing one. So think about like maybe 2 or 3 proposals. We could do this, that, or the other. And a manufacturer could say, I'm going to choose option B to go on all my pre-built drones, right? And then consideration of manufacturer demographic. The council emphasizes the need for the FAA to recognize that many drone manufacturers are small to mid-sized companies that require assistance to achieve compliance. And integration with BVLOS rulemaking. The report suggests incorporating standard remote ID deferment considerations into the upcoming Beyond Visual Line of Sight notice of public rulemaking. This could provide a more comprehensive approach to drone regulations. So I don't think, to be honest, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are a little too broken up that standard remote ID hasn't really taken off. But at the same time, it is a regulatory requirement. But again, when you're operating a company on small margins and a small, I guess, a relatively small consumer base comparatively to, let's say, other retailers, could be, grocery stores or, technology stores or anything like that. It's tough for some of these companies to roll down that path, right? So, Dave, any additional thoughts on this?
Oh, absolutely. And first, thanks for the great characterization of the work. The author of this article is Hai A. He's on Drone XL, and this is a journalist that we've worked with, Castellu. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly. Great guy. We've worked with Haye a number of times, and so if you see something written by Haye, you can trust it. The next is the lead author of this document that's referenced here is me. And so if you're wondering, well, what has FPVFC been doing? This is one of the things that we've been working on. And so the rest of the team has helped out and edited the document. We ran surveys both across recreational and commercial companies. And we were not sharing any of the specific data that we got from these companies, because if we ask a company, so you have no plans to do standard remote ID right now, right? That's correct. And then we're going to share their name with the FAA? No, that wouldn't make any sense. So the companies that we have formed this drone advisory council are Aloft, Drone Service Provider Alliance, Drone Influencers, Pilot Institute, and FPVFC. And the leads among those are John Hagrains, Vic Moss, Dave Kraus, Greg Revenue, and me. And so, and as each of their companies are represented, so as with FPVFC, it's the folks you see on the line here, as well as Rob and Blunty helping out and creating this. So just to highlight some of the things that Josh said, why do we care? We care because it is a regulation. Manufacturers were supposed to incorporate standard remote ID as of September 16, 2022 for all ready to fly or ready to go recreational or commercial small UAS that are greater than 250 grams. So this has been on the books for some time. We can look at this from a perspective of unreasonable regulations will be met with widespread non-compliance. And so there is a level of unreasonableness. However, the base technology to make this possible for smaller and mid-range companies is possible, and it's possible with today's technology. So this is doable, but it's not doable by many of the companies that we talk to who are effectively systems integrators. They acquire components from around the world. They're great pilots, or they're great in their industry, but they're not necessarily people who do software and hardware and can integrate at that level. So that's the level. We need something like a black box that we can add in standard remote ID. And of course, the difference between standard remote ID and a broadcast module remote ID is, just as Josh said, one, there's a dynamic reporting or broadcasting of the GCS or ground control station, which is your transmitter normally, but it's you, the pilot. And the next one is if the standard remote ID system fails on its power-up self-test, it has to have the ability to prevent the aircraft from taking off. And third, a bit of a bureaucratic nightmare for manufacturers is each aircraft has to go through a declaration of compliance, not a broadcast module or the subsystem. So we're asking for a deferment as well as a DOC or declaration of compliance for the subsystem that would be the standard remote ID. So why we care, who we are, who's doing it. We are also, we'll be posting this document up, and we welcome, and if you think of additional recommendations or you have concerns about what we've written, would love to hear from you. And that can be addressed to contact us on fpvfc.org. And
this our document, or the document for this, is up on our website, and as well as there's a link to it, I believe, right here that you can download. And if you want to go the Drone XL route, that's fine too. But an additional layer of why we care, right? So we care because not only are we supporting you guys, the community, but we care about the people who are supporting you, right? The people who are selling you the gear you need to fly. And if they're having a tough time integrating this for one of 5 or even more reasons, then we care and we want to make it easier on them to sell you product that you can then go out and fly, right? So again, it's protecting the hobby. It's making sure that people can afford to go out and enjoy this hobby, and take it to the next level. So yeah, I mean, this is fantastic work, and Dave, I appreciate it, and hopefully everybody else does as well. And I hope we see good things come from this. And I think on the flip side is something that we can ask for is when that NPRM comes out for the BV loss, right? This is a recommendation that we can throw out there along with our other comments on that rulemaking, right? That NPRM. So to if it's not there, let's get it there and see what we can do to move forward, right?
That's exactly where I was headed, which is, so when do we expect the FAA to act on this? Not quickly. And so, just as Josh said, if putting these comments or adding this content into the BV loss NPRM, I think will be entirely appropriate, because there's a recreational section. This is perfect for us. BV loss builds on remote ID, and you can't build on something if the compliance is near zero for everyone, with the exception of the very largest vendors.
Yep.
So absolutely. And so this will take time, but we've been at this since 2019, and we appreciate the support, and we're able to continue on forward on activities like this.
So when are we expecting the BV loss NPRM would be maybe the next question, right? And we're thinking, the regular cadence for the FAA is December, maybe January, right? But they really like to drop things at the end of the year and move forward from there. And so expect December, and we'll see what happens there. So
and if it moves out, one of the reasons it could move out, I'm talking to a couple of the folks in the know, and their response is, if there is a political party change in the presidency, that will result in a likely delay of the schedule. And it won't. There's no malice in my voice on this. This is just common sense of an agency working through a new administration, a new set of bosses.
100%. So, all right, Dan, Alex, any other additional comments on this? No. All right. So next we've got we got some banners. Yay. So Walmart ends drone deliveries in 3 cities, moves focus to Dallas. So Drone Up is closing 18. The company confirmed these locations were part of an initial rollout of 34 stores providing drone deliveries, and some layoffs are expected. Layoffs are an unfortunate part of the business that is literally defining its own industry, a company spokesperson told IoT World Today. Following the closures, Drone Up would continue providing deliveries at 15 Walmart stores, 11 in Dallas, 3 in Walmart's hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas, and 1 in Virginia Beach. Looking ahead, the company is focused on a scalable last-mile delivery platform it calls Ecosystem, a key component of which is the destination box, a secure climate-controlled locker for package pickup and drop-off. The platform also includes cloud-based software that allows much of the flight to be automated, and Ecosystem, a new drone capable of reaching 60 miles per hour and traveling up to 30 miles. So it's interesting. We kind of see this pop up. my expectations, to be honest, are not high when it comes to drone delivery for a lot of companies. I didn't hear a lot of buzz here in Phoenix regarding this in terms of, good, bad, or otherwise. I think there was a little bit of noise complaints, but beyond that, I didn't hear or see a whole lot of anything that happened. I know it's been running here for at least a year, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in drone delivery. I think more so in some of the other kind of types of quick drone access, like delivery of the defibrillators and stuff like that. I think is a better take, but that's just my 2 cents. But
Well, on the
Yeah,
opposite side of the delivery thing, there was an article recently about IKEA increasing the fleet of their drones that do inventory in their warehouses. So
yeah,
not the delivery side, but the pre-delivery side.
yeah,
no civil air authority required to gain any approvals. I mean, that really is a
Yeah.
big plus.
yeah, 100%.
That's why Google Wing went to Australia to log several 100,000 flights, and not in the United States. And yeah, our view has been, so what's the monetization of this? Just as Josh was saying. So is it critical packages? Like, is it a defibrillator? Is it like what UPS is doing with blood or medical supplies, or literally organs? Is it a place that's difficult to reach, like the Isle of Wight? You can't get there easily, or it's very expensive because you need a helicopter, and so you're doing something that is delivery that's very dangerous and endangers human life. Short of that, delivering a Walmart package, we don't get it, and so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't include Blunty's kind of thoughts on this as well, which I share. Is what's the end goal, like monetarily, for these companies to offer drone delivery that another form of delivery doesn't already cover, right? Do we get somebody used to getting a package in 5 minutes from delivery and then start charging them an upcharge for it to fund it? I mean, it doesn't make a whole ton of sense, especially, when you think about, well, how many times a month are you going to Walmart anyway that you can just pick up your package there, or any number of other options to get your deliveries, right? So it's just kind of goofy to me, but I've always thought that on the drone delivery side. But
A couple of thoughts on this. Is
yeah,
that saying that that one of the ones in Virginia Beach is one of the cities that they're closing delivery in, or is that just
I
talking?
think they're staying in Virginia Beach.
They're staying in. Okay, for a second I was like, wait. For a second I was surprised that it would be closing in Virginia Beach, because that's where their headquarters are.
For
And
drone up,
then
yeah.
yeah, drone ups. But I wonder if this also if the parts that they're shutting down their locations in has anything to do with Watts Innovations closing doors, since Drone Up used the Prism Sky from Watts Innovations for their fleet for the most part, because that was maybe a month and a half ago or so
Yeah,
when
I remember that.
Watts Innovations announced that they're shutting their doors, and that's pretty much where Drone Up got their drones from. So it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see if supply chain issues might have also been part of that decision.
Well, I think moving
was-
stuff to Texas, where they're setting up. I mean, they're realistically setting up the entire USS ecosystem in Texas right now. I know Rob's talked about that a lot. Maybe they're trying to get their flights in there and figure out that market there, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
I was looking for Bentonville, and I'm interested to see that that's one of the locations that Walmart is retaining. Bentonville, of course, is the Walmart headquarters. It must be a vanity project, and that they're going to kill it. The fact that they retained it, maybe there's longer life. I mean, certainly, Walmart has the capital and expensive resources to continue to fund this, into perpetuity. But to what end? Will it be a money loser, or is there a money maker at some point?
Yeah, and that's my thought is like, where's the money at, and what are we doing to move forward on that? So anyway, and then last but not least, we've got Aloft completes. Let's see, Aloft completes FAA onboarding for the latest version of Lance. So this comes from John Hagrains, one of the friends of FPVFC. We're thrilled to announce that Aloft has successfully completed the FAA Lance onboarding for the latest version of Lance. As the number one Lance providing, having processed over 1.4 million authorizations. That's awesome. Aloft continues to lead the way in airspace management. Latest version of Lance introduces several new exciting features, particularly for Part 107 operators and those using further coordination requests. We have long advocated for greater utility efficiency in these areas, and we're pleased to see these enhancements come to fruition. So, in a couple the latest versions of Lance, they have a reduced expiration time. So the automatic expiration of further coordination requests has been reduced from 24 hours to 3 hours. This change provides air traffic control with more opportunities to review and approve requests promptly, enhancing the overall efficiency of the process. And then enhanced ATC feedback. ATC can now send feedback on why a request was denied with specific guidance, such as resubmit 100 feet lower. This feature allows operators to understand and adjust their requests more effectively, increasing the likelihood of approval on subsequent submissions. So, yeah, pretty cool there. And
Yeah, I just add from and Josh touched on it. Full transparency. We work closely with John Hagrains. John and his company Aloft do a lot for us in recreational. The two lead products that get you can I fly information and can I get my Lance approval. Those products are Air Aware and Air Control, and they're available to us for free for recreational pilots and for a fee if you're a Part 107. So,
Yep.
As I said, we work, and John and FP, with Aloft and those of us on FPVFC formed the Drone Advisory Council. So we work closely with Aloft. We think the world of them and the people in their company.
Absolutely. All right. And then this is for Alex here, but we've got a 13-minute kind of behind the experience on the International Open. So, Alex, I'll hand this off to you. I'm not going to play the video, but I'll allow Alex to kind of talk about it a little bit here.
Yeah, so this is a mini documentary by one of my good friends, Leon Vander, and he's a former racing pilot, one of the fastest in the world, but now he's getting all into filmmaking, and so he's made a couple documentaries. He also made one about Champs 23 not too long ago, and he made this one that he just put out about the International Open this past year. I haven't watched it yet, but his stuff is usually pretty good, and I'm looking forward to watching it soon. I think you guys should watch it as well. His videos show what it's like at these multi-GP events and what it's like to be at a race or what it's like to be the pilots. This one is talking about behind the event, so probably looking at a lot of the volunteers and the staff, looking at setup, takedown, how we manage the hundreds of pilots at an event like I/O, and just stuff like that, and usually just some pretty good storytelling. So it's probably going to be a pretty good watch, and I definitely recommend. I put a link in the YouTube chat for it as well, and so yeah.
Cool.
Great
So it's
stuff.
got.
Look forward to watching it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out probably as soon as we're done here. Just got uploaded 5 hours ago, so it's fresh. So definitely check that out. All right, with that, that's all I have for this evening. Dave, you got anything, sir?
No, just if you see or hear about that standard remote ID document and you have comments, additional recommendations, or any disagreements, let us know, and we'll be happy to hear about that. And it's that, and as I mentioned, we're preparing for the imminent release of the Beyond Visual Line of Sight notice for public rulemaking. making, which, the FAA is fixing to release in the end of the year.
Yeah, by
I love
imminent,
the
it
fixing
could
to
it could be
release.
this week or it could be in 2026.
Yes, sir.
Well, I believe the what's it called? The thing that the Reauthorization Act says it has to be out by the end of this year. But then again, depending on if there's a political party change, there could be a delay from that.
Well, there's been no consequences for them being late on things in the past either. So
Right. So
Exactly
that's about
right.
where I
The
was going to go.
The 2018 FAA Reauthorization Act had a lot of dates. Many were missed by the FAA.
100%. Dan, you got anything to kind of wrap us out this evening, sir?
nope, I've got nothing for us this week. Sorry.
That's all right. It's like I said, guys, slow news week. There's just not a whole lot going. I don't know why, but it just kind of is what it is. I racked my search skills this week and trying to find a little bit more, but I came up short. So if you guys do have any articles you'd like me to cover in the near future for our next town hall, please feel free to reach out, send them to us on Discord or through our email on our webpage, and we'll definitely take a look at those and see what we can get out on that. But with that, guys, I think I'll give you back a whole half hour of your evening tonight, and I appreciate you guys joining us this evening, and we'll see you in another 2 weeks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.